We're renting a cottage this week, and the furniture in the cottage includes this dresser, which is actually quite a nice dresser. But when you open the dresser, the drawer, it turns out to be much smaller than the dresser itself. So I wanted to work out the volumetric efficiency or inefficiency of this dresser, but the only tape measure we had was this fractional inch one, and that's awful for calculations. So I just made a SketchUp CAD model of it and let SketchUp work out the volumes. So here's the CAD model of my dresser along with Susan, who always shows up by default in a new SketchUp model in my 2010 copy of SketchUp 8, and she's the same height as I am. And then next to that I just drew the volumes inside the drawers and the outside volume of that, and we've got 446.8 liters for the actual dresser, whereas the drawers can only hold 32.3 liters, except for the top one a bit more, because I'm counting the volume, basically how high you can stack in there before it hits something above there. And the reason these drawers have so much space between the usable volume is because the bottom is inset a little bit, and also they have a center slide in the middle, and of course that needs a thing that goes across here to support that. But overall the spatial efficiency of this dresser is just 36.7%, so almost 2/3 of the internal volume of this dresser is not usable. Now let's compare that to this dresser I built for Rachel 10 years ago. And this one's got full extension drawer slides on the sides, so I don't lose vertical space, although I do lose quite a bit of horizontal space this way because the frame of the dresser is this thick, plus the drawer, plus a bit of gap for the slides. So this one is a little bit bigger than the one in the cottage by just a small amount, but the drawers on this one actually extend all the way to the back of the cabinet, whereas on this one there's quite a gap that way. Also, this one doesn't have a base to make more room for drawers, whereas this wastes quite a bit of space. And the internal volume of this one is actually 115% more than it is on the one in the cottage, because the internal volumes stack very close together, except for right here because there's a rail that goes across here to keep the sides parallel. And the spatial efficiency of this one is almost twice what it is for the one in the cottage. Now I wish I had more dressers like this one, but it's an awful lot of work to build one, so I haven't built enough. And I could spend an awful lot of money buying a new one, but I could still end up with something quite suboptimal, so I just haven't been encouraged. But a good compromise is something like this one, which looks like IKEA style, but I can't say for sure that it is. I picked it off the curb last year, and it has a space efficiency of 61.2%. So even though it's quite a bit smaller than the one at the cottage, it actually has 15% more internal usable volume. And if you're interested in more, I've got videos about building this one, plus another one of similar style, plus a video about repairing this one because it was broken when I picked it up off the curb.